Ah, yes, the classic conundrum. You love your friends. You love them so much, you'd probably give up your last slice of pizza for them. Okay, maybe not the last slice, but at least the one right before it. And yet, despite your unwavering affection, there's that pesky little feeling deep inside. The desire to just be left alone. Alone, as in no notifications, no texts, no, hey, did you see this hilarious TikTok messages, and certainly no random impromptu FaceTime calls while you're binge watching a show that you really should have stopped watching 3 seasons ago. But every time you decide to claim that sacred, solitary space, you feel guilty. Like you're some heartless social hermit who's about to be exiled from the community of friendship forever. So what gives? Why do you feel guilty about wanting to be alone, even though you love your friends? Well, let's deep dive into this question with all the depth of an inflatable kiddie pool. And yes, we're going to make this funny. Reason 1. FOMO. The fear of missing out on everything, even the mundane. First things first, there's this little thing called FOMO, otherwise also known as FOMO. Imagine your friends are at a gathering, having a mediocre time without you, and they start talking about that one time you all went to that concert where someone almost lost a shoe. It was you, but we won't dwell into it. You know this memory already, but somehow hearing it from the outside makes you feel like you're missing out on reliving a great moment, except you're not. It's all just smoke and mirrors. Still, you imagine everyone laughing and bonding over the retelling, and it makes you feel like you should have been there to relive it, even if, in reality, your contribution would have been something along the lines of, yep, that shoe was definitely almost gone. Good times, good times. You're missing nothing but redundancy, but there's something deep inside you that whispers, what if this mundane gathering is the one where something spectacular happens and you're the one who wasn't there to witness it? And that fear keeps you feeling like wanting to be alone somehow makes you a terrible friend. Reason 2. The unwritten friend code. Thou shalt always be available. There's this unspoken friend code that's been passed down from generation to generation, somewhere etched on an ancient stone tablet, probably in Comic Sans because the universe has a sense of humor. It says, thou shalt always be there for thy friends, lest thou be branded as an antisocial weirdo. You have been trained by society, the media, and that one overly clingy friend you had in elementary school to believe that true friendship means always being available. Which is ridiculous, of course. Even Wi-Fi isn't always available. But there it is, deep in your psyche, the idea that turning down a hangout is equivalent to turning down the very essence of friendship. It's like every time you say, nah, I think I'll stay home tonight, you imagine your friends transforming into sad-eyed puppies, abandoned on the steps of a metaphorical friendship orphanage. And that's a lot to bear. You're not rejecting them, you're just tired. But good luck explaining that to the invisible stone tablet in your head. Reason 3. The Guilt Gremlin loves company. Ah, the Guilt Gremlin. That little creature that lurks inside your brain, always ready to pounce with accusations like, so you don't care about them anymore, huh? The Guilt Gremlin is like that friend who just cannot mind their own business. You want to be alone for a bit, and suddenly the Guilt Gremlin is laying it on thick. They've been there for you. They dropped everything if you needed them. Remember that one time they brought you soup when you were sick? And now you just want to watch TV alone. Heartless. And you're sitting there, trying to enjoy your alone time, but instead of savoring the glorious silence, you're mentally arguing with a gremlin who has the audacity to remind you of every tiny favor your friends have ever done for you. As if wanting to be alone somehow negates the fact that you'd also bring them soup. You'd just prefer to do it tomorrow when you're feeling a little bit more, soup-bringing and a little less people-avoiding. Reason 4. The modern-day friendship is my identity dilemma. There's this weird thing that happens in adulthood. You start realizing that you're not just you anymore. You're also a mosaic of all your relationships. You're not just you're Sarah's bestie, Mike's lunch buddy, and Katie's emergency contact for when she locks herself out of her apartment again. And so, your sense of self gets all tangled up with your relationships. Your friends are part of who you are, and you love that. But then, on a random Friday night, you find yourself thinking, wow, I just want to be alone tonight and eat snacks without sharing. And suddenly, it feels like you're betraying a piece of your own identity. Who are you without your friends? And are you even you? Yes, you are. You're just alone, and that's fine. But try telling that to the deep-rooted cultural conditioning of, we're all in this together, that's been implanted in your brain since birth.
Reason 5.
Social media guilt. The digital panopticon. Remember that thing called social media? It's like the world's largest surveillance team. Except, instead of hiding from Big Brother, you're hiding from the possibility of Susie posting about a fun outing without you. You tell yourself you want to be alone, and then you see a post of all your friends at that new cafe holding neon-colored drinks with ridiculous names like the Unicorn Fizz Blast. And suddenly, you are the outsider. And worse, the Guilt Gremlin, remember him? It decides to pipe up with, see what you're missing, Unicorn Fizz Blast. Who wouldn't want that? Sure, you could have gone. You could have been there, sipping overpriced sugar water with everyone else, but you wanted to stay home and recharge. An activity that, last time you checked, was totally legitimate. Yet, social media makes you question your choices. It's as if every picture you're not in is a picture of a good time that is somehow happening at your expense. And that's ridiculous. But it doesn't stop the guilt from worming its way in.
Reason 6.
The perpetual Friend of the Year competition. Somewhere, deep in our subconscious minds, there is a belief that friendship is indeed a competition. You don't know who started it, but you're definitely in it now. It's like you and your friends are all gunning for an invisible, totally not real Friendship of the Year award. And taking time for yourself is equivalent to withdrawing from the race. Sure, you love your friends, but the pressure to be the best friend, the one who always shows up, always texts back, and always remembers birthdays without the help of Facebook is real, and it's exhausting. So the idea of saying no to plans because you want some alone time feels like an automatic disqualification. Your mind imagines an announcer's voice echoing in your head, and there goes Jim out of the running, better luck next time, pal. Which is absurd, of course, because there's no competition, and taking care of yourself should never be grounds for disqualification. But your brain loves drama, and it's ready to convince you otherwise.
Reason 7.
You think solitude makes you weird. At the end of the day, there's also that lingering societal myth that wanting to be alone makes you, well, weird. Like you're supposed to be a social butterfly 24/7, fluttering from one interaction to the next without ever needing to land somewhere and just rest your wings. But here's the thing, even butterflies need a break. Nobody calls a butterfly weird for resting on a flower, and yet when you're the human equivalent of a butterfly trying to take a break on your metaphorical flower, aka couch, you start feeling guilty for not fluttering around. The truth is, solitude is normal, it's human, it's necessary. But the narrative that being alone somehow makes you a loner, a term that now has become synonymous with person to be pitied, is strong. So when you choose solitude, there's always that nagging feeling that maybe, just maybe, you're becoming that weird recluse who collects porcelain dolls and talks to them like they're real. Spoiler alert, wanting to be alone doesn't make you that person, not even close. Unless, of course, you also have porcelain dolls, in which case you do you, but maybe just keep an eye on that. So, what is the moral of this story? Love your friends, love yourself, and love your alone time. Ultimately, feeling guilty about wanting to be alone is about reconciling two truths. You love your friends, and you love yourself. And sometimes the best way to love yourself is to not be around the people you love. It's confusing, it's contradictory, but it's real. Your desire for alone time doesn't negate your affection for your friends. It just means you're human and need space to recharge. You're not a bad person or a bad friend. You're just someone who knows that they need a break now and then. So next time you feel guilty for wanting to stay home, imagine yourself as that butterfly resting on your metaphorical flower. Because even the most beautiful creatures do need a moment to themselves. And that's more than okay. It's natural. Now go ahead, take your alone time, turn off your notifications, subscribe to our channel, and enjoy the best peace and quiet. The Guilt Gremlin should sort this one out.